How's my hair?
Your hair is fantastic. It's not quite as shiny as it usually is. I'm thinking there's some stubble there. I don't know.
There's stubble. I didn't shave this morning.
All right. So I had an interesting telephone call. And I would love your feedback and the feedback of our listeners on how I handled it. I'm not sure that I handled it the right way. I kind of felt bad about how I handled it. And I felt like I don't know. Anyway, let's listen to it. Let's see what you think. We take the trust of our listeners very seriously, and I hope that you know that when I say that Shop-Ware is the best automotive shop management system, I believe it in my heart of hearts, and now it's even better. With new features like Tech App, it streamlines the inspection and dispatching process for you and your technicians. And with massive improvements to Shop-Ware's exclusive digital vehicle experience, they have stepped their game up to a whole new level. So if you haven't scheduled a demo yet, click the link in the show notes and do it today. If you've already had a demo and you were waiting to finally switch, there has never been a better time. So click that link and get started today. Good afternoon, and thank you for calling L&N Performance Automotive Repair. This is Lucas. How may I help you?
Awesome. Lucas, this is RJ with Shop-Ware.
What's up, dude? How you doing?
Good. Had better days. A little confused as having some trouble figuring some stuff out here. You guys are still using Shop-Ware, right?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Now, let's see here. Inside the vehicle recommendations tab, the work that doesn't get looked at, that gets dropped off within the system, you know where that is?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Good. Bringing them back. How are you working on bringing them back to the shop?
What do you mean? I don't understand.
The customers after they get serviced?
Well, so, I mean, we've got a series of marketing options available.
Okay. So you guys aren't like texting or calling the customers?
Well, so I mean, I guess I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to figure out. Help me understand.
I'm just trying to get a handle as on like the car count and so like what kind of jobs you got coming in and out of the garage. Maybe I can help yourself with
yes.
that.
So I mean, like we typically run like 120 cars a month. Is basically what we run. Are you asking like how do we market to the clients after, or you ask? I guess I'm just confused. Like what the question is.
How we go about. Like you said, you have 120 cars a month. On average, was that maybe like 150 on like a good week or?
No, I mean we average 120 to 150 a month total.
Oh, okay, all right. I mean, any of those suspensions, are them easier, like front-end jobs, or are they mainly all engines?
It varies. It could be anything.
Oh, okay. So, in the brake aspect, would you guys be maybe, I don't know, if someone was to bring in an extra 12 brakes a month, would that be something that you'd be looking forward to help out, or?
I mean, I'm already doing marketing. You said you were with Shop-Ware?
Yeah, we work with your Shop-Ware. We were just basically calling to try to get extra revenue within the work you guys do.
Who are you with?
Like I said, I work with Shop-Ware.
But I understand, but what's your company?
The company we work for is a partnered company. Like we work with clients within the Shop-Ware system.
Right, well, I'm just asking you what the name of the company is.
Oh, okay. That would be Bolt-On.
Oh, bro, you're not a partner of Shop-Ware's.
We work with the Shop-Ware.
Let me explain something to you. Shop-Ware sponsors us.
Yep.
On my podcast, right? They sponsor me on my podcast. And so the fact that you're calling and saying and doing something that's misleading to their clients upsets me, right? Like if you want to call and promote something to me and say, hey, I'm curious if you'd be interested in using our product, then call and say, hey, Lucas, I'm really interested in promoting this product to you, or would you be interested in looking at this? But don't call and lie and say, hey, you're part of Shop-Ware and that you're calling from Shop-Ware. That's a right out lie, dude.
No, like I said,
no. That's not what you said. That is not what you said. You said that I'm with Shop-Ware. I've got the call recorded. Do you want to hear yourself back? Because I'm sending it to Carolyn at Shop-Ware.
Yeah, we got.
And I'm going to play the call back on the podcast too.
That's totally fine. Like I said, we work with Shop-Ware. We're part of both.
No, you said I work for Shop-Ware. I'm with Shop-Ware. That's what you said. Do you know that Bolt-On is not even an integration partner with Shop-Ware?
It actually is. We work with 1,000.
I'm looking at the API connections right now. You're not part of Shop-Ware's API connections.
That's under the Shop-Ware, but we're integrated with Shop-Ware. I got thousands of other invoices here. I got all data. I got Identifix, Landcare, MaxTrax, OmniQ, Pace. We're all integrated with all these systems. So yeah,
I understand. I'm telling you, I'm not seeing you in the API list.
But you wouldn't see us because we're integrated with them. They wouldn't tell you that you're integrated with Bolt-On. Okay?
Bro, you have just
messed up.
You done messed up, AA Ron!
Brother, you've just messed up.
Okay, no problem, sir. Have an awesome day.
So what was I too aggressive with that? Was I too aggressive?
You done messed up, AA Ron.
I mean, I know. Why do I keep doing these like stupid things that get me internet traction when people hear it? What is it with that?
You done messed up, AA Ron.
Well, I mean, I feel bad because I like threw in that we were sponsored by Shop-Ware and like
I had no idea what the hell you were talking about. You was like,
I know,
sponsored.
but I mean, like it upset me because, well, like the people who use Shop-Ware and the people who work at Shop-Ware are very important to me. They're my family. They're our friends, right? Like these are people we work with every day. We're not like when I talk about Shop-Ware, I mean, like I was talking to Monique last night. Like these are actually our friends. We don't just like get paid from somebody and talk about them. No, these are actually people we work with. These are people we talk to very often. We care about their well-being. And this dude lying about it, really upset me. I tried my very best to remain like semi-calm and not like yell at the dude and cuss him out, but I mean, that was skeezy, right? Like he sounded like he was drunk or high or something. Okay, starting out.
And no, that's just the way he talks. That's just the way he talks. And technically, he's right. You can get an API connection with Shop-Ware. Like they've got the API key and all that.
Well, and I was informed that I was wrong because they do have My Shop Manager, and Bolt-On bought My Shop Manager.
Or the other way around. It's like
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But the point is that like.
But the way he said it is like they wouldn't tell you. It's not. You can't even see it. Like, what are you talking about?
That's absolutely not true.
He didn't understand that there was a list. There's a list of connections, and to connect to somebody, you just click it. And it gives you a little code, and you give them the code, and then they have access to your Shop-Ware information on the back end. But he didn't do a good job.
They don't just automatically get that.
No, they're not giving away your information. Like maybe they're selling their customer list, but everybody gives away their customer. I have no idea if they do or don't, but they're getting the customer list, but they're not giving away the back end stuff. You have no connection to them. They can't see your customer list. They can't see your car count. They can't see your sales information. You have to give them that connection. The thing about it is like when Carolyn started Shop-Ware, that transparency and especially like to the consumer and how the consumer sees and the fact that you can adjust what the consumer sees, but she built everything she did in the mind of the consumer. Like, hey, I want to be super transparent about what we do. Yeah. And so she also implemented that into what Shop-Ware is. And so Shop-Ware is the most transparent product on the market. Like if somebody is getting your data, you know about it, right? It's shared right there. You can go look. And if you don't want them to have it, you click a button and it turns off. Right? Which I have 100% done. Yeah, hey, I don't want them to have my information anymore. Click. Gone.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's gone. No more. And so I think what upset me the most, and when I was saying that he had messed up, I think what clicked for me when that happened, right? The thing that bothered me was that I realized this person doesn't have enough wherewithal to take this route on his own. Right? He didn't come up with, hey, I'm with Shop-Ware on his own. This is a script. He was told what to say. He was told how to say it. And that is skeezy because you're literally telling them to lie. This isn't, he was mistrained. He misunderstood. Well, absolutely not. Absolutely
somebody
not.
from Bolton.
Dude was trained.
Somebody from
Dude
Bolton
was trained to call in line. He was.
We can speculate that he was trained to use a very specific script. But hey, I've worked in the call center before, and I will say this. The really good call centers, they do not want you to deviate. They're like, hey, this script works, but within within the framework, you've got a little wiggle room. And if you find that a certain delivery works really well, you start to use it over and over and over again because you get a high close rate. And you get graded on your close rate, and you get bonuses and stuff like that. And so you start using a simple tactic. One that I used to use was the reasonable close. Does that sound reasonable to you? Like, let's just do this. Does that sound reasonable? Like, there's no risk. If you don't want to do it, then don't. But does that sound reasonable? Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Yeah, okay, let's do this. And you close that way. I used to use the crap out of that one. Anyway, now he had a whole spiel at the beginning. Yeah. Oh man, I'm just trying to figure something out, man. I'm looking through here, man. How are you doing how are you getting those customers to come back in? And you're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, he didn't know what he was talking about, right? And so that we know just about everybody that works for Shop-Ware. Yeah, so I was already a little suspicious, right?
Well, I don't know everybody that works at Shop-Ware, but anybody that calls you,
we know most of them. A good chunk of them.
Oh, maybe, yeah. We've met a whole bunch of them. But I'm
if
saying
somebody was calling me saying I'm with Shop-Ware, right? Hey, it's such and such from Shop-Ware, right? The chances are that I would know who that was. I had heard their name. Monique had mentioned them. They had met us at a show. We had talked to them.
Yeah.
They would be calling and saying, hey, Lucas, hey, man, I want to talk to you about something on Shop-Ware real quick. And they would understand the Shop-Ware platform. And it was really clear because there's terminology that Shop-Ware uses to explain the product, right? Like, what is this section? You know, by the way they describe it, what section they're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? If Andrew calls you, he's like, hey, look over here. I know what he's talking about.
As soon as he said, you're still using Shop-Ware, right? That was like, oh, well, yeah? Why wouldn't I be?
No, man. No, man, I just switched. It's cool.
Anyways, he was using if it is scripted, and you don't see, here's the other thing too. You don't know if Bolton has hired people, like a company that then hires randos to do the sales calls. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, hey, we outsourced our sales calls to XYZ sales calls company, and they are sitting on the phone and they just have phone numbers just popping up one after another, and they have to just read through the script. And the guy now, maybe he worked the script a certain way to make it sound the way he wanted it to sound, so he has a higher close rate. So you don't know if this is just a third party. So that's one thing.
That's very true. Very true.
If it is a third party,
and it's very likely it is, because it came from a North Carolina telephone number. It came from a ported number, right? It did not come from.
Yeah, but everybody uses ported numbers now. But I'm saying if it is a third party, Bolton did not do a very good job of vetting the script, because they don't just come up with a script and they're like, oh, we'll take care of this. Don't worry about it. We'll bring you leads. It doesn't work that way. Like, hey, here's the script. Do you approve? Okay, good. We're going to run with it.
Yeah.
That's not if that is what happened, they didn't do a very good job vetting the script, because that's super skeezy. If they're calling and going, hey, you're still with Mitchell, right? You're still with Techmetric, right? You're still with Shop-Ware, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. How is it that you're doing? Like, no. And he introduces himself with the shop management system.
Yeah.
I doubt he's just doing this with Shop-Ware. So that's like all wrong right there. Now, if the guy is, and I don't know if anybody from Bolton will ever see this, but they might come out and be like, oh, that guy did not follow the script. Our script is not to say that we're with the shop management company. Hey, I'm a partner with this. He left the partner part out. Maybe
possible.
Not. You'd have to wonder if other people have gotten
if that's
calls.
Really right.
Yeah.
Well, so that's what's interesting. I got a lot of feedback when I made that post last night. God, I'm terrible. I like just keep kicking the hornet's nest. And it's not that I'm like trying to kick the hornet's nest. I was trying to be cheeky and funny by posting it. I wasn't trying to like upset people. I really wasn't. And so like I got a ton of messages back from people saying like, hey, did they call and say they were with Shop-Ware? Hey, did they call and say they were with such and such? So I don't think this is a one-off type of event. I think this is a pretty common occurrence.
And when you're dealing with these companies, so I took a ride with somebody that used to work for a CRM company, like when it first started. He's a shop owner, and this was just a side hustle, and it was fun for him. He would make sales calls for the CRM company, and he had a ridiculously high close rate. It was like 80%. I can't remember the exact number, but it was really, really high, way above everybody else. And he said that the reason why his close rate was so high is that when he got the name of the shop he was supposed to call, he would research the shop. And if he thought that there is no chance, this is a one-man shop, they don't have a website, they don't have any online presence, the guy at 3:00 cracks open the beer because now it's 3:00 and this is beer drinking time, and all his buddies show up and they just hang out from 3 to 5 o'clock and drink beer while the cars are getting picked up. That's not the type of shop that is likely to go, yeah, go ahead and do my Google ads and my website and do all of the back end CRM work for my customers. That's not a shop that's likely to jump on that opportunity. And so he would either just give them one quick phone call or wouldn't call them at all, because he knew he wasn't going to close. So he picked shops that he knew he could close. And so he had a really high close rate. Well, they changed management or ownership or something. Like the person that owned the company, the CEO, got booted and somebody else came in. And somebody else comes in and they're all about growth. They're like, hey, we need to grow the company by this much. In order to grow the company by this much, we need to close this many clients. To close as many clients, everybody on the sales call team has to make X amount of phone calls because our close ratio is this much. And if we make this many phone calls and we maintain our close ratio, we're going to be able to take on this many clients and we'll hit our growth numbers. And all of a sudden they come to him and they go, hey, you're making, instead of 20 phone calls a day, you're making 5. And he's like, yeah, but I close 4. I can make 20 phone calls and close 4. Or make 5 phone calls and close 4, but I'm still closing you 4. And they're like, no, we want you to call all 20. And then at that point, he's like, I'm out. I'm not going to spend all day. This is a side hustle for me. This isn't my full-time job. I'm not going to spend all day on phone calls, calling shops.
Right. I'm going to find vetted clients and roll.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I understand their viewpoint because they're like, hey, if you make 20 phone calls and you could close 5 instead of 4. If you only make 5 phone calls, you're going to only close the 4. It's unlikely you're going to close the 5th or the 6. You're not making enough to close 6, and you could close 6 if you make all 20 phone calls. So from that thing, and it's systemized, scripted. I understand why they were doing it that way because it's scalable. Yeah, the guy one-offing and doing like side research and figuring out whether he's going to close that shop or whatever.
And
that's
understanding shop owners, right? He was a shop owner, so he understood shop owners, right? He knew what.
Yeah, but it's not. Yes, but it's not scalable. Like you're not going to be able to get 20 of him making enough phone calls to be able to scale the business. So I understand why they went the direction they went in. And it's very likely that at some point they hired a third party or they brought in a bunch of salespeople into the company at Bolt-On and decided, hey, I need everybody to make 25 phone calls because we need to hit our numbers by the end of the year and we're just going to push. Yeah. Here's the script. If it's internal, skeezy. If it's a third party, they did a terrible job of vetting their script.
Yeah.
That's not the
job
way
of vetting the provider, period. Right? I mean, that was even if that was the script, dude did a terrible job. And so you don't just get there, right? Like, in other words, like the fact that they would tolerate that performance in a call center, right? Like that was bad. Right? That was either zero experience, zero confidence, something, right? There was more to that story than just him calling.
No. I thought it was good. I like the delivery. The way he had delivered, like, hell, I need you to help me out here with something. Your recommended repairs that don't get closed out. How are you guys following up on that? He didn't even know what he's talking about,
David. It didn't make sense.
Because he's a call center guy. He's not a shop owner guy. And he's asking you a question. If you are all of a sudden, if he piques your interest, you were already standoffish because you're like, you're with who? You're with Shop-Ware? I don't know you, because you have a good connection with the company. But if you're just like customer 1854B on the Shop-Ware list, and you just use Shop-Ware, but you don't talk to anybody in the company, you just use it, you like the product, it's whatever, and they randomly call you and you're like, okay, I don't know anybody from the company other than maybe a few people at the top, and I know their names, I don't know them personally. And they're like, okay, let me explain to you my process. He gets you talking, and then the guy slips in. He's like, well, we can help you out with this on the back end. I'm with Bolt-On, and maybe you don't know the Bolt-On name. He's going to close you. Maybe. If that's a problem for you, like, I don't get enough people coming back in for recommended repairs. Then he's like, hey, I got a solution for you. I can see the pitch.
I can too, but the delivery was poor. And I will say that I'm confident on the telephone, right? Like I'm okay on the telephone. I've been answering the telephone my whole life, and in a business setting, right? So it doesn't bother me to answer the telephone and have those conversations. And so I probably exude a little more confidence than some of the other people who answer the phone and they're dealing with a vendor, right? Like, I'm clear and direct. And so I noticed that sometimes the front counter staff that works for me will get a different response from a vendor like that than I do, right? And if you go back and listen to the calls, they use a completely different tactic. They sound more confident in their calls to them than they do to me. And maybe it is that I'm direct. Maybe I am a jerk. I don't know. But either way, I was pretty displeased that the dude tried to lie to me. That bothered me.
That was the problem. Like the problem entirely was that the guy lied. The guy lied to get in, to get you on,
and then tried his very best to say bolt-on. How many times did I ask him? I asked him 4 times.
He was trying to avoid, because that was towards the end. And here's the thing: I bet you that if he gets you on the hook, he never mentions that he's with Bolt-On. Never. Like, he'll get you your information. So then you
call up Shop-Ware. This isn't working.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he goes through his whole thing. They get the API connection or whatever. They go in to start like showing your stuff off, and then you find out. But at that point, like, they've got you invested in the whole process, and they're trying to pitch you, and you see like the buttons and the features and all this other junk. So I guarantee you that his intention is to get in with the assumption that this is an integral part of Shop-Ware and nothing else, which, if that's the case, again, we're speculating, but if that's the case, hella skeezy. Hella skeezy. Like, if your product is so bad that it will not stand on its own, that you have to fake it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, hey, 100%. Our name.
You have to fake it so they don't know where to cancel.
Yeah. Like, they don't want you to even know that this is
unsubscribe button.
Yeah, this is like a tacked on piece of software with and the name is so maligned in the industry that we can't even tell you the name. Yeah. So we're going to hide that.
We have a 42-day cancellation period. What I need you to do is go to the 14 links that you see there, click confirm on each. On the 42nd day, I need you to click that link, type in your social security number, agree to pay us $5,000, and then hit unsubscribe.
Yeah.
No, man.
So, like, this, it's all wrong. It's all wrong. Yeah. Don't use that. If you're a CRM company, I understand you need to close sale. You know what you do is you what is it that the one CRM company's doing? They're like,
which one?
They created a Facebook group. It's the kid with the R8.
Oh, the Hangout. Yeah, Auto Shop Owners Hangout. Yeah.
See, that's a much better tactic.
Relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Build relationships. He's at every show. He's,
we all know him.
We all know him. He showed up with pants without holes And he showed him off.
Oh, he did. I think he did that just for you. I think he did that just for you. I've never seen somebody so...
I felt so old. I felt so old. He's like, hey, look, my jeans don't have holes in them. And I'm like, I'm that guy.
You're Dutch's replacement, right? Like when Dutch,
apparently when Dutch says something super old and boomer, and I'm like, he's so old. And then I'm thinking back of what I was doing to Kieran, and I'm like,
it was so funny because he's like, hey, where's David? And I said, he's out front. And I walk out, and I'm like, he's right there. And as I'm turning around,
he caught me in a bad time. He caught me in a bad time. I had to show up to an event, and I was tired, and we had been talking on the podcast, and he caught me, and he's asking me about sponsorships and this, that, and I'm like, dude, like,
and then
what the crap?
What was the best part is as I'm walking away, all I hear is like, your pants have holes in them. It's just like, Mighty David, like, of all things, right? Like this look of disapproval, you know?
I did disapprove of the holes in the pants. I did disapprove of the holes, but I get it.
He is such a good guy, though.
He's a nice kid. He's crazy smart too, and he's super driven, and I can appreciate all of that. I'm
just too lazy to be him.
What's that?
I'm just too lazy to be him.
Are you kidding me? That guy, no. That guy's like 100 millionaire. I'm thousandaire. And different mindset, different work.
It depends on what day it is. If I'm even a thousandaire, okay. Like there's days that I'm.
Depends if I paid my taxes or not.
Right?
Yeah. If I paid them, I'm broke. Ain't no money. Gone.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So that's what you do. Like that guy's out there. He's kissing babies. He's shaking hands. You know what he's not doing? He's not hiring some sketchy call center and hiding his name. And what is he doing? Like some of his growth has been bringing on clients that have been advocates. Like they're super excited about the product, and they're jumping online talking about how great the product is. And that's the way you do it. You don't do what Bolton did here. Like, don't bad on Bolton. They're like, thumbs down.
Bad Bolton.
Thumbs down from Bolton.
I feel kind of like an asshole. I'm not gonna lie.
You are an asshole. But
okay, good. I'm glad.
That's neither here nor there.
Someone agrees with me finally. That's good.